This week on Great British Menu, 3 of the Northwest's finest chefs. Matt Warswick, the reigning regional champion.
You in hand?
No, organised chaos. Push myself as much as I can.
Is up against 2 determined newcomers. Kim Woodward, a head chef for Gordon Ramsay.
Do you need anything doing?
Nope.
No.
Don't need your help.
And Simon Rogan's protege, Adam Reed.
Act's confident and everything else will come with it.
In the year the nation celebrated the Queen's 90th birthday, the chefs are paying tribute to the everyday Great Britons honoured throughout her reign, and competing for the chance to cook at an opulent banquet at the Palace of Westminster. Adam's in the lead after scoring 8 points for his Indian-inspired starter.
It was a fun thing to eat.
Matt's 1 point behind, leaving Kim in 3rd place.
I'm going to give you a 6.
Today is the fish course, and Kim's out to produce a winning dish.
Are you challenging yourself on this one, Kim?
I want to make sure that I'm going to deliver great tasting food. I'm confident I can pull it off.
Matt's leaving nothing to chance.
Have you practiced this dish at all?
Yeah, actually tried it on somebody who's being honoured by the Queen.
And Adam's determined to hold on to his lead.
Don't want to leave anything to chance.
The competition is heating up. The chefs are competing to create dishes to honour our modern Elizabethan age and to celebrate the transformation of British cuisine during the Queen's 64-year reign. Judging the chefs this week for excellence and contemporary cooking is Phil Howard. A former fish course banquet winner, Phil has the highest expectations.
The banquet is for the Great Britons who've been honoured by the Queen, and these guys have got to cook their hearts out in that kitchen and produce dishes that are worthy to be there alongside them.
You're 1 point ahead, and Kim's only 1 point behind.
It's not much.
Everything can change.
The next couple of courses, I'm just going to give it my all.
Challenge is on.
It's not a fish curry for the next one, though.
It's not curry.
First up, Kim Woodward. In 3rd place with 6 points, she was criticised for failing to make the most of luxurious ingredients.
I'm going to come back fighting with this course. The fish course is one of my favourite. I want to just deliver it.
Hi, Kim.
Hi.
How are you feeling after the first course?
Bit more confident now. I'm ready to go in for it.
You can still get 3 10s. There's still so much to
Exactly,
go for.
there's so much for me there, so. This dish is called Great Miners.
OK.
It's about honouring the coal miners in the Northwest and what they've actually done for Britain itself. Coalfields in the Northwest played a huge part in the Industrial Revolution, and we use charcoal, even to date, to modernise our cooking. It's exciting for me.
Talk me through it.
What I've chosen is halibut.
I hope you're going to serve me a lovely, prime, plump piece of halibut.
I'm going to be choosing the best bit, right in the middle of the fillet. I'm going to put some of the spices around it and then cook it on charcoal.
OK.
I'm going to use a garnish of potatoes, which I'm going to turn into a lookalike of charcoal using the squid ink and serving it underneath the actual fish.
OK.
Also, I will be making a little bit of charcoal bread, again, using black squid ink.
All very black.
Yes, definitely.
Very black. You've got a spanking piece of seafood there. Do some justice to it.
Thank you very much.
I think her take on the brief is interesting, it's real, it's got relevance to her, but I really hope she lets the halibut sing loud and clear and take centre stage.
Next is Matt Warswick. He made it to last year's finals, and this year he hopes his reimagining of British classics will get him to the banquet. But his liver and onion starter failed to make a big enough impact.
I'm going to give absolutely everything. I really hope that Phil can give a 9 or a 10. Kim and Adam are really good chefs, but hopefully it's me.
How's Matt?
Good.
So how do you feel after the first course? You look a bit less stressed than when I last saw you.
I was under the cosh a bit with the timings, you know, really up against this, so hopefully I can get a better score for this dish. OK, so this is prawn cocktail. Classic British dish, using amazing British langoustines, evoking our culinary heritage. everybody can associate with a prawn cocktail.
I couldn't agree with you more on all of that, but we are, however, standing in the kitchen of the Great British Menu. So how are you going to take this box and get it to the banquet?
I'm going to make a lemon oil and then poach these langoustines in the water bath. When I had a prawn cocktail when I was a kid, there was always a real cold element, normally because it was served straight from the fridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to try and evoke that. So I'm going to make a classic Mary Rose sauce, but then I'm going to pipe that into liquid nitrogen. So when you taste it, cold element and then Mary Rose sauce that we all love.
OK.
I'm going to do a iceberg lettuce puree, and I'm going to serve it with some cucumber flowers.
Are you confident that you're going to be able to refine it to make it worthy of this competition?
I think if I can bring it up to date and just show it a bit of love.
I look forward to seeing what you do. Good luck.
Thank you.
He's got a good take on the brief. I understand what he's doing, but there are reasons why the dish does work. And so to change it so drastically is obviously then a risk.
Finally, Adam Reed. Winning the starter course has given him an early boost, and he's planning to build on that success.
I really want to, keep those scores high, so I'm going to push as hard as I can.
Adam, currently in pole position.
Yep.
Feeling confident?
Yeah, I think so.
You need to be. I've seen what you're up against.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my worry. My dish is called By the Seaside. As per the inspiration for my whole menu, I want people to be able to relate to this. So I remember going over at Bridlington. As a family, we'd usually get drenched and,
That's what it's all about.
typical British weather.
So is this a take on fish and chips?
No, not at all. This is a walk by the seaside. So I want people to be able to eat this, and by the end of the whole dish, I want them to have had all those little experiences that you get with a walk by the seaside. The main element of the dish is the fish. I'm using hake.
How are you going to cook it?
I'm going to poach it in a bath of clarified butter.
What's happening here?
It's not for drinking. It might feel like it by the end of it. I'm going to make some scraps. So obviously scraps are just the rag ends of the batter from the chippy. But I want them to be really light and a little bit more refined. So instead of water, I'm using gin and malt vinegar, which are going to evaporate a lot quicker and so puff up the batter and make it really light and airy. The pickled cockles. Again, classic seaside fodder, really.
Very much so.
And then I'm going to make a tartare sauce, but a bit more refined, nice and aerated, more like a mousse.
Sounds interesting. So we've got fish, we have got batter, we have got tartare sauce.
There's no chips.
Yeah, we got the fish with the capital F. Good luck. Thank you.
Chef.
I'm surprised he's chosen hake. It's a fragile thing to deal with. I wouldn't have done it, but a piece of pure fish with a wonderful tartare sauce and scraps can be a really magnificent thing to eat. It's all in the execution.
The filleting begins, alongside some early nerves about cooking a perfect dish.
So, Matt, you're not running around this course?
I'm not out of the woods yet, I'm panicking in my mind. But
You look a little bit red-faced again, Matt. You're not going to have any issues this time round?
just the pressure, I like this dish and I need to do it good.
As head chef of one of the UK's most famous grill restaurants, Kim is hoping her trusted charcoal will deliver her more points.
This dish just highlights great cooking. Using charcoal is a big influence for me, especially when it's from the northwest.
Kim's achieving a charcoal look by blackening the yeast dough for her bread rolls with squid ink.
It's always a tight call making bread.
I'm confident I can pull it off.
No, great to see. Let's make sure that it is proved, is baked, has rested, so that it can be what you intended it to be.
And that's what I'm going for, the light, fluffy element of a nice piece of bread.
It's nice to have one baker in the house, Matt.
Matt's decided not to bake his own bread for the croutons for his modern take on prawn cocktail. He's opted to use shop-bought instead.
It doesn't really bother me about making your own bread. If you make really nice bread, it's one of the best things in the world. If you make really bad bread, it's one of the worst things in the world.
Adam's out to celebrate the country's contemporary cuisine by capturing quintessentially British flavours. And so far, it's working well.
I'm feeling the pressure because I was worried about my starter. It's gone well, so now it's given me the confidence to really push everything else. So I just want to smash it.
Adam's fish course is inspired by a day at the British seaside. He salt cures his delicate hake, and cooks the cockles before pickling in malt vinegar. Adam blends classic tartare sauce ingredients with eggs before emulsifying with a mixture of sunflower and parsley oil. He transfers the sauce to a whipper.
Is it a take on fish and chips?
No, there's no chips.
Just fish.
It can't be fish and chips if there's no chips, can it?
Just seaside.
Yeah.
Next, Adam tests the batter for his banquet-worthy scraps. Traditionally, the leftover bits from the fryer served in fish and chip shops.
Intrigued by the scraps. So normally,
refined scrap.
Yeah. The gin and the vinegar and no water achieves what that wouldn't otherwise happen.
I mean, the vinegar gives it that lovely acidic flavour that you like to get on your fish and chips. Gin is really there because alcohol evaporates a lot quicker than water, so it wants to get out. It puffs it up a lot better. But you've got to get the elements just right.
Matt is poaching his langoustine tails in lemon oil with star anise and thyme. Then he vac packs them. They'll be cooked later in the water bath to ensure the cooking temperature is precise. He's also making over the classic Mary Rose sauce, which he'll freeze with liquid nitrogen.
There she is.
So, Matt, have you practiced this dish at all?
Yeah, I have actually. I actually tried it on somebody who's been honoured by the Queen, so I was a bit nervous, but I think it went well.
In his quest to serve up the best for the Great Britons at this year's banquet, Matt met one of the youngest to be honoured, Justice Williams.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Justice.
So lovely to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
In 2009, after years of tireless work in her community, Justice was awarded an MBE, aged just 28.
George, were you nervous going to meet the Queen?
My whole thing that was going through my head for the whole time was, do not fall over.
Don't fall over, yeah.
Everything else was just irrelevant.
After a brush with the law as a teenager, Justice turned her life around to become the multi-award-winning social entrepreneur she is today.
By the time I got my MBA, I'd worked with about 3,000 young people.
That's incredible.
So services to young people in Birmingham that were involved in guns and gangs, for young people that weren't not aware about their rights, and also as well helping young people from disadvantaged backgrounds turn their lives around. Where is it that they're currently getting that product or service from?
Justice continues to help and inspire young people through various projects and runs workshops teaching them how to start their own businesses.
You need to think about, is the customer and the consumer the same person?
As one of the guests at the banquet, Matt was keen to get her feedback on his fish course.
When people say prawn cocktail, you just think of the traditional old-fashioned.
Yeah. The idea is to get all the flavours and the nostalgia of a prawn cocktail, but like bring it up to date.
That is delicious.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna eat you all now. Matt, you're on the right track with that one. Definitely.
In the kitchen, Matt's preparing his lettuce puree, which he hopes will take the much-loved prawn cocktail to new culinary heights.
How we going, Matt?
Good, Chef.
I was always intrigued by the lettuce puree.
So this is still in process, but nearly there. So it's just a bit of spinach, a bit of iceberg lettuce, touch of salt.
What's the sort of ratios there? Is it iceberg puree, spinach puree?
Yeah, so it's an iceberg puree with a touch of spinach, just for colour, really. I'm going to do some raw iceberg lettuce discs. You know, when you have the prawn cocktail and you get a really fresh crisp. That's what I'm trying to emulate as well.
Proof is in the eating.
Kim has to get the proving of her bread rolls right in limited time. Too little and they'll be stodgy.
It's proofing nicely, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and keep turning it. I want a crisp bread, I want it light and fluffy.
You challenging yourself on this one, Kim?
I want to make sure this course that I'm going to deliver great tasting food. It may look a little bit black, but that's what I'm going for.
Kim boils her potatoes using squid ink and vinegar, which will make them look like lumps of coal. Then she brushes her black dough bread rolls with charcoal-infused oil and sprinkles with smoked salt.
Are you confident about your bread?
Yeah, it's proofed enough for me, I'm happy, so here we go.
Adam started this course in the lead, but he's having problems now as he attempts to refine the famous chip shop scraps.
I'm really conscious that I'm first up, so I don't want to leave anything to chance. These scraps are a lengthy process to get them really light and airy, so I just want to get everything right. I'm running around with it. Now that? It's like a basketball. That's what we're looking for.
Finally satisfied, Adam fries his salt-cured hake and finishes it in a bath of clarified butter. He prepares the presentation for his dish by the seaside. The butter-poached hake is first onto the plates. Next, Adam adds sea greens.
What's the newspaper elements of it?
To celebrate a lady I found out about called Connie Brown. She used to run the local chippy, and she was still working there into her mid-90s. And she got an MBE for her services to her community.
Finally, Adam garnishes with pickled cockles and the scraps, then wraps it all in newspaper.
And also, as we like a bit of sauce with our fish, there's a nice aerated tartar sauce to go with it.
I'm going to let you spray me with foam rather than the other way around. OK, that's not the tartar sauce I know. Feeling threatened at all?
That's all I need eating, I suppose.
OK, let's do exactly that.
There's no chips.
There's no chips.
By the seaside, you expect fish and chips.
I would.
It's classic ingredients.
All the flavours.
OK.
It's quite smooth, isn't it? Normally you expect tartar sauce to have a bit more texture.
I think it looks great, but I don't get that bite, that vinegary bite which I'm expecting.
Hake is an interesting choice.
There's a reason that we go for these lesser fish, if you like. They've got bags of potential, and if you cook them right, you know, they're beautiful.
Is that cooked right?
For me, yeah, it's moist, it's juicy. I'm happy with it.
I'm quite intrigued about these scraps.
The vinegar that was in the batter, has that come through strong enough to provide the acidity to nip through the richness of the sauce?
When you take everything else with it, it gives you that piquancy that you're looking for.
Nice and crispy.
At the banquet, Great Britain's, are they going to get why this is a world-class competition-winning dish?
I think any Great Britain would relate and be nostalgic about what is quintessentially British.
I think the fish is cooked perfectly. I love the sea vegetables. I love the scraps. But is it special enough for a banquet? I don't think so.
I'd be happy with an 8. Maybe it could be pushing 9.
OK, you're confident with that?
Matt is next to plate up. He's hoping his reimagining of the retro prawn cocktail will be deemed worthy of the banquet.
Hopefully we've gone down the right route. I'm worried about getting it right for Phil, really. I want to get a better score than myself. How was it?
Yeah, intense. It's pretty difficult coming up first. There's absolutely no stopping. But no, I was happy with the way it came up.
Matt reveals his psychedelic presentation, complete with coloured lights.
It's even more colourful than my starter.
Good associated prawn cocktail of like 60s, 70s, flower power, psychedelic.
Matt's using modern techniques, including freezing his Mary Rose sauce with liquid nitrogen.
It freezes it in the little rock, so then when you eat it as a whole dish, you put it in your mouth.
It just dissolves.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Matt pipes the iceberg lettuce puree onto his plates and tops with lemon poached langoustine and discs of iceberg lettuce. Next are the brown bread croutons.
Bought in bread come out all right?
Yeah, the bread's, really consistent.
Finally, Matt garnishes with cucumber flowers, lemon oil and crushed segments of frozen lemon.
Need a pair of sunglasses for that. Are you really telling me that's what you wanted to produce?
Absolutely.
Matt.
So this is my prawn cocktail.
Prawn cocktail, as far as you're concerned?
Colourful.
It looks amazing.
It's certainly prawn cocktail, the like of which I've never seen before. Let's go and dip into it.
You know, you get the vibe from it. It's what you expect prawn cocktail to remind you of, I suppose.
Large langoustines like that are, without a doubt, one of nature's most spectacular ingredients. You've chosen to cook them at a very specific temperature. What's the need for that?
So I cook the langoustines at 56 degrees, so it's not chewy.
Wow, that langoustine is beautifully cooked.
Yeah.
Can't argue it.
Let's have a look at the Miro sauce. Is that what you're looking for?
It does exactly what I wanted it to. As soon as you get it, you get bags of flavour and a cold aspect.
The only thing I maybe would say is that once you start eating a lot of the Mary Rose sauce, it's very acidic.
Do you think that the amount of lettuce puree that you've got there gives it enough presence on the plate?
As well as the lettuce puree, I put raw iceberg lettuce discs on there as well, so you get more texture.
I think Matt's on for a 9.
Yeah, I would definitely give that a 9.
Is that dish, as it stands, fit for the banquet?
There's always room for improvements, but I think, yeah, I do think that's a banquet dish.
Kim is last to plate up her halibut dish, dedicated to the coal miners of the Northwest. She gets her black bread rolls out of the oven, knowing the bake needs to be perfect.
It's black, so for me it hits the brief of what I'm doing for this course, so, you know, I'm excited about it.
Here he is.
How are we doing?
How was that?
Doesn't say anything, does he? How are you getting on?
Calm and collected.
Any concerns?
Everything's good. I've just got to cook the fish.
Just a small aspect of the fish.
Yeah, you know.
Kim brushes her halibut fillets with charcoal oil, then coats them in a mix of fennel seeds, paprika and celery salt, before cooking on an indoor barbecue.
Has it made you anxious seeing Matt's great dish go up there?
I just want to bring my dish up and get your opinions.
Next, Kim makes her brown butter sauce, adding capers, lemon juice and chives.
Anything you need doing, Kim?
Nope, just building it now.
Then she pipes butter mixed with black garlic and squid ink on top of the rolls and garnishes with a gravel of black olive and rosemary. First on the dish are the crushed charcoal potatoes, followed by the fish and more of the gravel garnish. The bowls are served in mini coal carts. To complete the dish, Kim spoons brown butter sauce into pots.
Here we are.
I'll take the sunglasses off for this one. Got the other end.
Impressive.
Exactly what I wanted.
Good. So it's just going to go.
Yep.
Like a lot? A little?
Yeah, I like a lot. You definitely get that barbecue.
Yeah, cooked well. It's quite risky, actually, cooking it on the barbecue. There's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Are you happy with the piece of fish that you've got in front of you there?
Yeah, for me, I've carefully watched it and I feel I cooked it spot on.
You were going to say perfectly there. I can see
Yeah.
the pea on your lips.
The bread's there to be shared between two.
You've got potatoes and you've got bread. You could argue that that's a double up.
Playing the bread on the side, for me, was the fun part of it. And yes, it is about the fish course, but also the bread that the miners would have eaten.
The bread's nice and light. For me, I would probably do less olive as a balanced fish dish. You know, the halibut's the star of the show.
I know, I'm going to give it as a mark. What are you going to give it?
I would give it a 7.
There's 3 points missing there. Where are you going to make them up?
For me, I would make the bread obviously a lot smaller. I think it's quite big, even though that's for 2 people.
I think she's come back fighting with this one. How was that?
Looking back at the bread element, for me, it's always about a bit of fun, but whether or not I need it or not for the dish, it's kind of thrown me, I think.
Again, strong food.
Yeah, massively strong food. Thought I'd nailed it, and then you two put your dishes up, and it's just put me back in my place. Scary.
You just keep seeing really good dishes all the time. It's really annoying.
Hello, chefs.
Hello.
Oh.
Feeling a bit more relaxed after the fish course? No. Done and dusted? Adam, start with you. It's your dish by the seaside. It met the brief. Simple, clever, hake. I think it's a risky fish because it's just an inconsistent fish to buy. But it's cooked perfectly. I wasn't sure how the aerated tartare was going to work out, but on the dish, it did just the job. But I did think that there was a lack of lift and vitality. With the fresh scraps, I didn't taste much vinegar, which is so important with a scrap. It just lacked presence and impact. Matt, for your prawn cocktail, presentation, boy, it was naff. But the truth is, I think prawn cocktail was always naff. So it was cool, I liked it. Lettuce puree, a bit worried about where that was going to go. The truth was, it was used in the right way. The Mary Rose sauce, I thought that was absolutely spot on. But the langoustines, sometimes when you cook things at these gentle temperatures, yes, it's tender and sweet, but it hasn't got the character that a pert, plump, pink langoustine tail could have if you cooked it at a higher temperature. The croutons, I don't know whether they really brought anything. They were a bit rough and ready. There was so much finesse elsewhere. Kim, for your dish, great miners. The rolls weren't great. I do think they were ultimately underproved. However, the piece of halibut with the sauce was one of those things that that's what cooking's all about. It was special. I thought the black had impact. It all worked. So to the scores. Matt, for your prawn cocktail, I'm going to give you a score of 8.
Thank you.
Adam, if you're by the seaside, I'm going to give you a score of 7. Kim, for your dish, I'm going to give you a score of 9. Take on the brief was great, and it certainly deserves a 9.
Thank you.
That means my maths is right, all equal, halfway through, everything to go for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
Wow.
Great score.
Got a 7. It's the lowest out of the 3 of us, but doesn't matter. It's a good score. That's all you got to keep doing. I'm still confident.
Wow.
Well done, mate.
Trolls. I'm absolutely made up with that, to be honest with you. Phil's such a hard judge, so an 8's a great score. A few tweaks, and hopefully that could be better if I get through to Friday.
It's all even now, anyway.
I know, why did we even bother with today? It's just, should just start from the main course.
Wow, to score a 9. I mean, I'm super excited now. It feels like I'm right back in the game. It's all about tomorrow now.
Yeah.